WMC Memphis, WMFS HD2 Bartlett Memphis, part of the Memphis Sports Network with 92.9 FM ESPN, ESPN 790 AM.
The views and opinions of the hosts or guests of the following program do not necessarily reflect those of the management or staff of Intercom Memphis.
Watch the sunrise, new day's dawning, and it's calling you and me. Where the mighty Mississippi flows by Memphis, Tennessee. We've got woodlands, fields, and water. Hey, there is no better way. You can find out all about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Make some time, take the family, ask a friend, but don't delay. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray. Listen up and learn about it on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Good Saturday morning. Welcome to another edition of the award-winning Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 AM. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resource Agency, Gaston's White River Resort, Sportsman's Warehouse, and Barton Power Sports. Now, here's your host, Larry Ray.
Hey, good Saturday morning. Welcome to Outdoors with Larry Ray on ESPN 790 on this May the 14th, the final weekend of turkey season in Tennessee. And I know Ron Wong would like it for
that.
he would like for it to continue so the waters are full of fishermen and not turkey hunters. But Ron has been everywhere. Good morning, Ron Wong.
Good morning, Larry, and good morning, Greg.
Greg Ratliff, good morning to you, too.
Good morning. I have to tell you, it's a beautiful Saturday in the neighborhood.
Well, how do you know? You've never been here. You're everywhere.
Well, I have been out and about. That's right.
You've been mostly about. I mean, I didn't even know where you were there for a while. I was getting concerned that you had...
I think... I have figured it up. During the month of April.
Do I want to know this?
I was probably home maybe 10 days.
10 days. So you could say you were in Kentucky Lake. You've been at Kentucky Lake. You've been at
Wheeler Lake. I have been in Florence, Alabama.
Yeah.
I have touched base on 4 different Tennessee River lakes now.
Yeah.
Wheeler, Wilson, Pickwick, and Kentucky Lake during the month.
And you were on the White River.
I was on the White River earlier, absolutely.
And then you
I was at Bull Shoals Lake and Lake Norfolk. But I have to tell you, it's kind of fun to be around all the touring pros on the BASS Elite side and the FLW Tour side. Just great people. And
spreading the word on Outdoors with Larry Ray.
Absolutely.
With Ron Wong as he's out there.
And hopefully I can gather enough information
to
spread out to all of you all
out
there to see what's the latest, greatest, how they're doing, how they do it. And those kind of things. And it's a lot of fun just to be able to interact with all of these pros because they're all really, really
Well, I'm really excited
people.
about the first one we're going to talk to because this young man, he's come out of he's come out of like the AAA of professional bass fishing.
That's right.
Right into all of a sudden, bingo, $100,000.
And the thing about it is, he does have experience on the Tennessee River Lakes.
Yeah. Well, it's obvious.
Gunnersville.
Yeah.
And although they are all different,
they
do have similarities. They all have ledges. They all have grass.
They do. Yeah.
And so, it's a matter of understanding the river system itself and how to fish. And of course, his traveling partner is a guy named Michael Neal.
Yeah, we ought to tell that we are talking about Buddy Gross.
Yes,
Okay,
absolutely. And I have to tell you,
anybody named Buddy I like.
Well, I have to tell
Buddy
you.
and Bubba, that's two of them.
What was so cool was, I'm sitting there shooting some pictures in the final day weigh-in at the FLW Tour tournament.
Yeah.
And on Pickwick, and his wife and his little girl were
Great pictures.
front and center.
Yeah, great pictures.
And they're holding their signs up, and I have to tell you, when they finally announced who won this thing, and it was quite close.
Yeah, we're going to save that when we talk to
But
him.
we're going to talk to Buddy about all that.
Because
we're
Buddy,
going to talk a little bit about his pattern, too, because I have to tell you, Pickwick Lake has not fished like Pickwick Lake in years past.
What do you mean by that?
It's been totally different
because
of because of the up and down weather we've had.
That's true.
They've had somewhat of a late spawn. Number one.
Uh-huh.
Number two, for whatever reason, the grass is growing earlier than what it has been in years past, where you're now having shad spawns in late April, 1st of May.
Yeah, golly.
That's kind of weird.
Yeah.
And the water temperatures have been up and down. Then, earlier this year we had very high water.
Rain.
They brought it down.
Yeah.
And then it came back up. And so those fish they're really acting strange. I will tell you, I wasn't disappointed, but I had an idea that the typical weights to win a Pickwick tournament was not there.
Yeah.
I had predicted that
Yeah.
it'd take about 83 pounds to win a tournament on Pickwick Lake.
That's a lot of weight.
Yeah, that's only 20 pounds a day.
Yeah, that's only 20 pounds a day.
Well, I mean,
only
that's
Ron
a lot.
can say that.
That's
only
a lot of
20
weight.
pounds
That's
a day.
a lot of weight.
That's only 300 home runs a year.
However,
okay?
that wasn't even touched.
No, it wasn't. It looked, and we're teasing them again. It looked like it might be touched going into that second day, that last day for Buddy. I mean, we're going to talk about that the way he had his highs and lows, as he said.
And you know what?
Yeah.
Not only are we going to be able to talk about the highs and lows
of
what happened there, but, next week we get to talk about the highs and lows that happened over in Arkansas on Lake Bull Shoals Lake and Lake Norfolk with Randall Tharp.
Yeah.
And then the highs and lows the following week of what happened on Wheeler Lake with Takahiro Omari. And I have to tell you, that's
three pretty good guests coming up one week after another, and that's through Ron Wong's connections, and of course I could bring back all of my old fishermen that I know.
And you've talked to most every one of them.
Mine
at
are
some
legends.
Point in time.
Yours are current. Mine.
Well, I have to tell you, some of the legends I was really rooting for, and let me give you an example.
What?
At Wheeler Lake?
Yeah.
At the BASS. Going into the final day, we had a legend, in my opinion, that was in the top 10 fishing, and I was hoping he was going to be able to pull it out. And that's my friend Gary Klein, your friend Gary Klein.
Oh, yeah, Gary Klein,
And I have to tell you, it just didn't happen. It's tough out there. People wonder, how come there are no repeat winners?
Yeah,
it's really tough at that level, at the FLW Tour level and at the BASS.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't even thought about that, but you're right. Back to back, that's almost unheard of because of the nowadays. Well, I mean, back older times when we didn't have near as many, but it was still. But these days now. And we're going to talk a lot of fishing on today's show because, Ron is here. This being the second Saturday, we're going to try to hook up hopefully with Hank Weldon. He's the BASS High School Series tournament manager, talking about the Bassmaster High School National Championship coming up again at Kentucky Lake late in August. Then we're going to talk to Jimmy Mason, a friend of Ron's that I haven't had a chance to talk to, of TH Marine Supplies, where Ron was down at the Writers' Conference. And then we're also going to talk at the end of the show with Casey Rolig of Buff. And I have really learned a lot about Buff.
Buff USA is, you know what? And we're into that time of the year, Larry.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Where it is absolutely critical to try to protect your skin.
Yeah.
Inasmuch as those bronze bodies that everybody wants.
Yeah, I wished I had a body.
It's not good for you.
I lost my body.
But I have to tell you,
my body lays over the ocean.
Buff USA has really done a good job in trying to help protect your skin.
Cool stuff, man.
Really
cool
good stuff. Really good stuff.
Yeah, and Ron brought me a couple here that I've already. I may put on my headgear when we get
and we're
going to
get a picture and
get a picture of me wearing my headgear
and go out to lroutdoors.com and check this out.
Yeah, that will be something. And then we're going to wrap up the turkey season. What I think what an amazing story that I'm going to write about in Sunday's Commercial Appeal about two young men whose family ties go back forever. And they don't hunt together, they work together, but it's two of the most well-known turkey hunting families in the Mid-South, and that's the Turpin family and the Aycock family. Golly, their family roots are about as deep as you can get in turkey hunting. But a lot of folks, Ron, before we take the first break of the morning, are wondering from you a little bit about the fishing as we go into May, and we've had rain. You know, I know they're catching some big brim at Reelfoot and big brim at Kentucky Lake. This May is a prime time, as I wrote about recently, thanks to your help and the other ones. This is a wonderful time to go catch those really feisty shell crackers.
Yes, because
all
the water temperature now has risen into the mid-70s.
Well, we got in the 80s this week, you know.
And, because of that, the brim here are going to be spawning, and they will spawn every month on the full moon.
On the full moon, yeah.
Several days before, several days after, you can really catch them. And there's so many lakes around. They're so easy to catch.
Yeah.
And, there's nothing like putting on a cricket or a worm.
Yeah.
A foot, 2 foot, 2.5 feet deep on a cork, set it out there, and watch that cork disappear and catch these brim and shell cracker. I have to tell you, they are lights out anywhere you go, whether it's a big reservoir or whether it's one of our.
So what are you looking
TWRA.
for? People say, can you see the beds?
Yes, and you should wear sunglasses.
Oh yeah,
but you'll see little pits.
Okay.
In mud, it's got to be a mud bottom, and you'll see little pits. They're only going to be a foot to 2 feet deep.
And bubbles
anywhere.
You're liable to see
a lot of bubbles. And by the way, you can also smell brim.
I can. I believe that.
People say, and that's the truth.
Yeah.
So they're real easy. They're going to be near the bank. So if you don't have a boat, you can fish off the bank and catch just as many brim as somebody in a boat.
Well, I recommend if you're looking for somebody, try Steve McAdams. He is really catching them up at Kentucky Lake. And I saw Billy Blakely, our
buddy
up
there.
out of Blue Bank Resort. Golly, they're catching them great eating fish. All right, we're going to take our first break of the morning, come back, and it's fishing time. And we're going to talk to a guy that I need to borrow some money from. I hope we can hook up with Buddy Gross. I'll be right back on Outdoors with Larry Ray with Ron Walt in studio on ESPN 790.
You can find out